Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're doing something maybe a little different, but I think incredibly useful. We're zeroing in on the practical side of IT support. Specifically, looking at it through, well, the lens of the CompTIA A 220-1202 exam. Think of it as a shortcut, maybe, to understanding how to tackle common tech troubles.
Exactly. Yeah, we've basically grabbed a study guide,
Mm.
the ones full of practice questions. And instead of just like listing the right answers, we're really digging into the why behind them.
Right, the core knowledge.
Yeah, the core knowledge. The goal here is to make these troubleshooting concepts, well, clear and, immediately useful, whether you're actually studying for the cert or maybe just brushing up or honestly just curious about why your computer sometimes acts up.
Precisely. So our source today is this collection of practice questions. It covers quite a bit. Operating system glitches, security hiccups.
Those pesky malware and
Those two.
Yeah.
And system tools, power protection, all that good stuff. Okay, let's unpack this, maybe starting with something I bet a lot of us have run into.
Let's do it. So first up, the case of the constant restarts. Picture this, right? Someone installs a new update and bam, their device is just stuck, rebooting over and over again. So frustrating.
Oh, absolutely. Been there. And the critical first step here, according to the guide, is booting into safe mode and then uninstalling that update. Now, for anyone maybe not familiar, what is safe mode? Why is that the go-to move here?
Well, safe mode it's fascinating, really. It's like a stripped-down version of your operating system, a diagnostic mode. It starts Windows with just the absolute bare minimum drivers and services needed to run.
Okay.
So, while sometimes a simple restart might fix a temporary glitch, if your machine is constantly restarting right after an update, that strongly suggests a conflict.
A conflict with the update itself.
Exactly. A new driver, maybe a service that was just installed. If the system runs okay in safe mode, well, that update becomes suspect number one. It's really the fastest way to try and isolate the cause.
That makes sense. Isolate the problem by starting simple with the basics. Yeah, I bet many listeners are nodding along thinking about those post-update headaches. So, okay, you uninstall the update in safe mode, reboot normally, and hopefully, fingers crossed, problem solved.
Ideally, yes. That's the plan. So having tackled system stability, let's maybe pivot to a different kind of challenge. Access control. What if you need to give someone access, but like really limited access?
Ah, yes, locking down access. I
Yeah.
saw this one. The scenario is you need a user to run just one specific application, nothing else. And the sources point to using something called assigned access in Windows. How does that work exactly?
Yeah, assigned access. It's a neat little feature for very specific situations
Well,
instead of getting tangled up in complex permissions.
which can be a nightmare.
Right. This is a dedicated feature just for creating these sort of single-purpose accounts. Think about like a public kiosk or maybe a computer set up for one specific task in a business. You want to make absolutely sure users can only use that one designated app.
So it simplifies things compared to trying to lock everything else down manually.
Massively simplifies it. You could try using complex group policies or permissions, but assigned access is built for this. Much cleaner, much easier to manage for that specific need.
Okay, the aha.
Sure.
For me, there's, specific tool for a specific job.
Makes sense. Now, shifting gears a bit, what about security in the physical world? When you're out and about.
Good transition.
Yeah.
Let's talk about guarding against prying eyes. So many of us work remotely now, right? Coffee shops, airports, trains, and shoulder surfing, someone literally looking over your shoulder at your screen is a real risk, especially with sensitive data.
Definitely.
And the solution highlighted is actually pretty simple, maybe surprisingly so. Use a privacy screen.
Right, those plastic sheets you stick on your monitor. It seems almost too low-tech. How does that actually stop someone beside you from seeing what's on your screen? It's clever, actually. It's all about optics. That thin film uses microlouvers, essentially tiny vertical blinds. They drastically narrow the viewing angle, so if you're sitting directly in front, you see it clearly.
Okay.
But someone looking from the side, they just see a dark or distorted screen. It's surprisingly effective for visual privacy.
That is incredibly useful, especially, for anyone handling sensitive info on the move. Simple, but effective. Okay, moving from stopping people seeing things to something much nastier, when files are held hostage. This sounds serious.
It is. Very serious. The telltale signs here are, well, suddenly your files are all scrambled, encrypted, you can't open them, and often there's a message, a ransom note, demanding payment to get them back.
Ugh, ransomware.
That's the culprit. Ransomware.
It's a word that definitely makes IT folks and everyone really nervous. Can you break down what it actually does? Why is it so dangerous?
Sure. So at its heart, ransomware is a type of malware malicious software. Its whole purpose is to encrypt your data, lock you out of your own files, basically, on your computer, maybe across a whole network.
Wow. Then the attackers demand money, usually crypto like Bitcoin, for the decryption key.
The key to unlock your files.
Exactly. And recognizing these signs, the encrypted files, the node, recognizing it fast is critical for damage control, for the right response. These often get in through things like, clicking a bad link in an email,
Yep.
phishing.
Right, right. It's basically digital extortion. Okay, let's switch back to understanding our own systems better. Peeking under the hood at startup.
Yeah, this is about controlling what's happening when your computer boots up. Ever wonder about all those little icons popping up, all the programs launching automatically?
All the time. Sometimes it feels like it takes forever.
Well, the tool our guide points to for managing this in Windows is the System Configuration utility. You can usually run it by typing msconfig in the search bar or runbox.
msconfig. Okay, so what does that actually show you? What can you do with it? msconfig gives you a list, a detailed list of all the applications and services that are set to start automatically when Windows boots. This is super useful for troubleshooting. If your computer is starting really slowly or acting weirdly, you can go in here and see what's loading.
And you can stop things from loading.
Yes, you can disable startup items you don't need or suspect might be causing problems. It gives you back some control over your system's performance and what's running in the background.
That's really good to know. Empowering, actually. Okay, but what happens when, despite your best efforts, you do click on something dodgy online? Let's talk responding to suspicious activity.
Right, this is crucial. So imagine the scenario. User clicks a questionable link, maybe in an email or on a website. Suddenly, pop-ups everywhere, browser acting crazy, redirecting to weird sites.
Nightmare fuel.
Totally. The immediate #1 action our guide stresses is disconnect from the network, pull the plug, turn off Wi-Fi, whatever it takes.
Disconnect immediately. Why is that so critical?
We've
Like the absolute first step.
Containment. It's all about containment. By pulling it off the network right away, you stop whatever nasty thing is happening from potentially spreading.
Spreading to other computers on the same network.
Exactly. Or phoning home. A lot of malware tries to communicate back to the attacker's servers, maybe to download more malware or to send your data out. Disconnecting cuts that lifeline.
Got it. Isolate the problem instantly. Prevent it getting worse or spreading. Makes total sense. Now, thinking about networks, today's world, remote work is huge. Accessing things from anywhere. That brings us to secure access from anywhere.
Absolutely vital topic now. The scenario is pretty common. Users need secure access to company stuff, cloud resources, whatever, but from their own personal devices. Laptops, phones, could be anywhere.
Right. Not in the office on the secure network.
Exactly. And the recommended solution, the standard really, is using a virtual private network, a VPN.
VPNs. We hear that acronym constantly. Ads everywhere. In simple terms, though, how does a VPN actually make the connection secure? What's it doing?
Well, what a VPN does essentially is create a secure, encrypted tunnel for your internet traffic. Think of it like a private pipe running through the public internet. All the data going through that pipe is scrambled encrypted.
Okay, it's scrapped.
So even if someone, say on the same public Wi-Fi network, tried to snoop on your traffic, they wouldn't be able to read it. It just looks like gibberish without the key.
Right, so it protects you on insecure networks like coffee shop Wi-Fi.
Precisely. It's pretty much essential for secure remote work these days.
Definitely feels that way. Crucial for peace of mind. Okay, shifting from software and networks to a piece of hardware, often overlooked maybe, the unsung hero of hardware.
Ah, yes, the UPS, the uninterruptible power supply.
Doesn't sound very exciting.
Huh. No, maybe not the flashiest bit of kit, but oh man, it can be a lifesaver for your gear and more importantly, your data. Its main job is protection. Protection against power surges and complete outages, blackouts.
So it's basically a battery backup.
It is, yes. It has a battery inside that kicks in instantly if the main power fails. That gives you time to save your work, shut down gracefully, no lost data, hopefully.
Okay, that's useful. But you said surges, too.
Yes, and that's arguably just as important, maybe more common, depending on where you live. It acts like a buffer, smoothing out the power supply. It protects your sensitive electronics from those sudden voltage spikes or even dips that can, well, fry components or corrupt data.
Oh, okay. So it's not just for blackouts. It's for dirty power, too.
Exactly. Dirty power. Good way to put it. Honestly, a worthwhile investment for pretty much any critical workstation. Protects against data loss, hardware damage.
Yeah, definitely seems like a smart buy. Okay, what about when software itself is the problem? Let's look at investigating application failures.
Right, an app just won't install properly, or maybe it installs but crashes. Super frustrating. The key diagnostic tool the guide points to, for Windows anyway, is the Event Viewer.
Event Viewer. Sounds technical. What does it actually show you? How does it help figure out why an app install failed?
It is a bit technical, yeah, but incredibly powerful. Event Viewer is basically a logbook, a detailed chronological log of everything happening on your system. Errors, warnings, information messages, successful operations, including application installations.
So you can look back in time and see what happened during the failed install.
Precisely. You can filter the logs, look for error messages specifically related to that application or the installer process around the time it failed. Often the error description will give you clues. Maybe it was missing a dependency, like a required library, or a permissions issue, or a conflict with something else.
Okay, so you have to do a bit of detective work with the logs.
You do, yeah. It's like being a digital detective. The logs are your clues to figure out the root cause of the failure.
I like that analogy. Digital detective. Okay, finally, let's talk worst case scenario for physical devices. Protecting data in case of loss.
Yeah, this is crucial. We carry laptops everywhere now. What happens if it gets lost? Or worse, stolen? How do you protect the data on it?
Good question.
The single most effective safeguard highlighted here is full disk encryption.
Full disk encryption, like BitLocker on Windows or File Vault on Mac.
Exactly like those. What it does is encrypt or scramble the entire hard drive, everything on it. Without the right password or recovery key, that data is just unreadable junk.
So even if someone gets the laptop, takes out the drive, they can't actually access any of the files.
Correct. Unless they have your authentication credentials, the data is effectively locked down tight. The physical hardware is gone, sure, but your sensitive information remains protected.
That offers huge peace of mind, especially with company data or personal information on a portable device.
Absolutely critical in today's mobile world. And maybe a final thought to leave you with. Just consider how deeply technology is woven into our lives now, personally and professionally. How does actually understanding some of these fundamentals, troubleshooting, security, how things work under the hood, how's that empower you to navigate this digital world more confidently, maybe more securely? Definitely something to think about. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.